Hi there and welcome to another edition of Groove of the Week with myself, Colin. Today we are on this lush ATV EXS5 kit. We've actually taken the K18 from the artist kit as well, just because it looks pretty awesome. So what we're going to try and do today is we're going to look at a particular Danny Carey groove from the new Tool album. It's off of a song called Tempest with a 7 instead of the T because they're super cool. But it's quite an interesting pattern. The first bar, it's 4/4 and then it goes into 13/8. It's kind of more of a kind of staccato stabby part in about 2.5 minutes into the song. Let's have a look at it first and then obviously we'll try and add our little flavour to it. Let's have a look. Listen to those drums sing. Right, okay, so what we're going to firstly do is we'll look at it a little bit slower. Pay attention to the last bar, the 13/8, where they do, it's just those little bits that they add on that kind of give it that Tool-esque prog vibe. So there's another grouping of 3, the second time round. And there's also another add-on of a grouping of 4, including the snare on the last one. So rather than the first bar being, they extend it to. So let's have a look at it a little bit slower. The first thing I wanted to look at was to drop out those right foot notes that actually land with the flam of the floor tom and snare. Now the thing with this is kind of like a personal preference choice. It can just make those stabs like pop a little bit better. So let's have a listen to that, nice and slow. Notice that with my footwork, I'm keeping my right foot on the downbeats and my left foot on the offbeats, or the upbeats rather. It just feels a bit more natural for me to kind of have that approach. So we'll pick that up again and we'll have a listen to that quick. Let's go. So personally, I prefer that one. It's a lot cleaner. Okay, so what we want to do now is we're going to start to kind of take it a bit more around the kit. So what we're going to firstly do is we're going to take our left foot off the pedal and we're only going to use one foot and we're going to kind of transpose it so that we're starting to bring in the toms. Let's have a look at this nice and slow. And we speed that back up. The one cool thing about this, utilising the toms, is it actually frees up our left foot. So I'm going to try and keep a quarter note pulse on my left foot and you'll kind of see the way that the loop actually effectively flips the on-beats to the off-beats due to that 13/8 section. Let's have a little listen to this nice and slow. And back up to full speed again. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take that quarter note pulse off the left foot and bring it onto the right hand. So before we overcomplicate this even further, let's have a look at this again. Now to complicate this even further, we're going to try and bring in our left foot, but I wanted to try and keep an 1/8 note pattern between them. So that means we would have to step our hi-hat on the offbeats, like so, just right hand and left foot. Etc. So now let's try and add that pattern in. Let's give this a try. Wicked. So that's really, really good for your four-way coordination. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our left foot back onto our double kick, like so. That was tricky, wasn't it? Utilising the same idea, in true Danny Carey fashion, we're going to start to add a tripleted 2 kicks on the bass drum. Now, he does this very, very similarly in Schism, which sounds like this. Which is a wicked song, of course, but we're going to try and utilise that idea and apply it to the... So this, nice and slow, really feel the kind of the way the triplets are kind of working together. Ga, but the ga, but the ga, etc. So nice and slow. Again, it does get a lot more complex when you make that switch from that 13/8 section, kind of implying an offbeat quarter note pulse. So once you feel a bit more comfortable, we really, again, focus on the trip and lut of 1 triplet, 2 triplet, and then speed that back up. Let's have a listen full speed. That one's probably my favourite out of the lot, as it does kind of nicely hint at Danny Carey's playing. Now we're going to look at one last one, and this one is a little bit odd just due to the way that I kind of taught myself it. We're going to apply, taking that kind of 4/4 13/8 pattern, and then just utilising just a simple right together. So if I don't hit a cymbal halfway through talking. So the one thing that is weird about this is I have to kind of say the pattern out loud. So if you were to beatbox that part, you've got ka, du du 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 ka. Now, again, as I said, this is just the weirdest thing that I've ever encountered with learning a part. Normally, I'm the kind of guy who wants to, you know, tab everything out, really, really regimented, and make sure you know exactly where everything's falling. So I'll show you what I mean. Ka, du du ka, du du ka, du du ka. So the one thing I've never encountered this with drums before, but I have to beatbox that pattern in order to, because again, as I said, I haven't strategically tabbed the whole thing out. I have to beatbox that. So I think there's something wrong with me. So we're going to speed that back up. Thank you so much for joining us again. Check out the new Tool album and their 17-minute songs, of course. And we'll see you next week.